What are some of the biggest psychological errors that people make when it comes to thinking about wealth and business building? What are the traps that people fall into?
One of the ones I've been working on a lot with our Entree Leadership clients, which we coach about 10,000 small businesses under the brand Entree Leadership, that this book is in. As a matter of fact, it's in that same brand. And then of course we work with people on the financial side, and so I've been, I did the book Millionaire. Baby Steps Millionaires, and is a number one again. Teaching people, here's what these millionaires look like. We did a huge study on millionaires. Here's what they really look like. And so in both of those cases, I'm spending time with the wealthy or I'm spending time with a successful small business person. In either case, I'm appalled at how much damage the anti-success movement has done to their psyche. I'm appalled that they've actually, too many of them, they're very successful on almost every front, but when I look at them and say, you haven't done anything wrong, you did everything right is why you're successful. You are not a moral reprobate for becoming wealthy or becoming successful. Quite the opposite. I'm proud of you. You have done good stuff, my son, my daughter. And I'm amazed at somebody that's got a $5 million net worth, and I look at them and say that, and their body language changes. Their shoulders go back, their head comes up, because this communist, negative, anti-wealth, anti-success stuff that is floating around has had an impact on them and impacted their spirit. The hope stealers, I call them, has stolen a lot of these people's pride, their hope, and I've started getting, quite frankly, pretty angry about these people that are spreading this negative thing about successful people, because I got to tell you, man, I know a lot of billionaires, not just millionaires, and the percentage of wealthy people that are bad people is lower than the percentage of the population. Now, there is bad people among them, but they did not get there by doing something wrong. By and large, they got there by doing more right than anybody else did. They served more chicken. They served more pizza. They served more business help. They served more something than you did. Shut up. And man, but it's amazing to me to sit with a guy who's got a $15 or $20 million net worth, and a guy like me from a redneck, a hillbilly, can look at him and go, dude, I'm proud of you. You did good. And he goes, I did. But nobody says that to him. Everybody says you're a dog, you're an idiot, you're a crook, you must have done something wrong, eat the rich, and all this stupid one percenters and Operation Wall Street's language and all that garbage that's out there. And it's having an impact on success. Is now getting a bad name, and it didn't used to have a bad name in America.
Yeah. Where do you think that's come from?
Communist college professors.
Okay. But if that's, surely those communist college professors, were they in tenure when the people that you're speaking to were going through college?
Oh, yeah. They've always been there. I mean, honestly, truthfully, there's very few people that believe that communism is a better system than capitalism unless they're on a college campus. You can't find them. You can't even find them in communist countries that think it's better than capitalism.
Yeah, there's nothing more
capitalistic than a good communist, right? Honestly. And so, but this idea of equal wealth for unequal effort and call that fair, that's not fair. Guy works 60 hours, he should make more money than guy works 6 hours. That's not fair. You make the same money and you work, that's not fair. My kids used to say growing up, well, Daddy, that's not fair. I'm like, fair's where the tilt-a-whirl and the cotton candy is, kid. You want some fair, go get some.
Yeah, I'm very grateful that where I'm from, the northeast of the UK, it's spit and sawdust, blue-collar stuff.
Yeah.
There was no airs and graces. And in some ways, for the British people that are listening, and the Australians, and maybe some of the Canadians, and maybe the working-class Americans as well, that has some pains, because if you try and stray from the beaten path, a lot of the time that's looked down on, that's not exactly supported. You don't you're kind of in a role model desert a lot of the time. There's not that many people.
I was having dinner with some Aussies, and they said tall poppy syndrome.
Correct.
And I said, well, that's not an Aussie thing. That's an Aristotle thing. But okay, still.
It's a little older. It's a little older than Australia is. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, it's, that poppy, that you can't stick your head up. You must be cut down.
Yes. And
envy and jealousy.
Yeah, exactly. I really didn't like that. But one of the things that it gave me was people like the sort of person I didn't want to be like. And avoiding pitfalls are almost as important as expediting successes. So, I don't want his relationship with his wife. I don't want the way that he drinks his problems away. I don't want the fact that he seems to be using gambling as his get out of jail free card for all of the problems that he's got, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And
it's not working. Your ideal, your value set is not working. The fruit is not there. And you look at that and go, okay, I don't want to do that.
Correct. But one of the things that it does give you is no airs or graces or expectations, no sense of
entitlement.
Precisely correct. There's zero entitlement. What myth of martyrdom are you going to have? You weren't promised anything. And I think I wonder whether the anti-wealth movement in America is kind of like a bastard love child of the American dream from the 60s, that if you give people blue sky vision, white picket fence, this is the sort of world that you can get. It doesn't really matter where you started. You can ascend into the middle class and maybe even above. That's a big hope. And if you get to the stage where the world doesn't deliver the thing to you that you expected or that you hoped, even if by pretty much all metrics, Gen Z and millennials financially, even adjusted for inflation, are in a pretty good spot. Intergenerational competition theory, they compare themselves to where their parents were at their same age, their ability to access things like housing, and their level of comparison across the internet. Even if they are wealthy, they don't feel that wealthy comparatively. And that means, well, maybe there's something wrong with the world. Maybe this is unfair in some sort of way. Maybe the system is broken. Maybe work actually isn't the solution to these problems. Maybe I shouldn't be resilient. Maybe the system is the issue as opposed to the meritocracy or my efforts that I've put in or the way that I've approached things.
Yeah, I get the disenfranchised feeling. I understand that. I've been there myself. We were just talking about that. But the mean old banks took Dave down, right? The mean old IRS took Dave down. The president changed the tax law, and it affected the real estate business in the 80s, big time. Shut down the entire S&L industry because of that. And so I was a victim. I was a victim of all these things. And yet I was the one signed up for the trip. No one made me sign those documents. No one made me sign those mortgages. No one made me do any of it. It was an act of my free, stupid will. And so I had to kind of get through that. So if you're going to stand and scream at the machine, 40 years later, where are you? Still standing there, screaming at the machine. And you've had 40 years of a substandard life. So it just doesn't work for me. It's impractical to me. That philosophy is, I'm going to be a victim. I'm going to scream about this. I deserve better. The system is broken. You can yell about all that if you want, but you're not controlling any of the controllables. Your only option to have a higher quality life is to control the controllables. And is there racism? Yes. Is there sexism? Yes. Are people less likely to believe a guy that is bald than a guy who has a great head of hair? Yes. There's baldism. And so there's all kinds of things that can hold you back that are unfair, but I can't fix that. Since I choose not to have a hairpiece, I can't fix that. So I've got to do it anyway. I can stand and yell about how unfair it is that the people in the radio business thought because I was broadcasting from Nashville, I must not be wearing shoes and being a double wide because they had ignorant stereotypes of Southern hillbillies, right? And because they'd watched the Beverly Hillbillies when they were a child and thought that was real. And so, ignorance is what all prejudice is based in. And so are those things real? Did I get as I grew a 640 station network, did I get unfairly characterized as not being smart because I had a Southern accent? Oh, like every day. And I can yell about that, but I don't think I'm going to change the stereotype of some Yankee in Cleveland, Ohio. The only thing I can do is go, outlast him, and then he ends up working for me later.
This episode is brought to you by AG1. I've been drinking AG1 every morning for years, and it just got better. AG1 Next Gen keeps the same simplicity, one scoop once a day, but now comes with 4 clinical trials backing it. In those trials, AG1 Next Gen was clinically shown to fill common nutrient gaps, improve nutrient levels within 3 months, and increase healthy gut bacteria by 10 times, even in healthy adults. Basically, they've upgraded the formula with better probiotics, more bioavailable nutrients, and clinical validation, and it's still NSF certified for sport, so you know that the quality is legit. They genuinely care about holistic health, which is why I've got my mum to take it, my dad to take it, and tons of my friends too, and it's why I put it inside of my body every single day. And if I found something better, I would switch, but I haven't, which is why I still use it. Best of all, there is a 90-day money-back guarantee, so you can buy it and try it every single day for 3 months, and if you don't like it, they'll give you your money back for all of it. Right now, you can get a year's free supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs by going to the link in the description below or heading to drinkag1.com/modernwisdom. That's drinkag1.com/modernwisdom. Would you look at that? Clip is already over, but if you want more, don't be sad. The full episode is available right here. Go on.